Okay, 5:30 having arrived, we're going to call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will apologize to the audience in advance, but we are going to go directly into non-public session at the start of the meeting this evening. I don't think we'll be particularly long, but that is the order of business.
I'll make a motion, we go into non-public on RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2, letter C.
Is there a second for that?
The matters which are discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person.
Second,
Thank you.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I'm yes as well, so go into non-public. Okay. Got the recorder back on. Call the meeting back to regular session. I would entertain a motion to seal the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to seal the minutes of the non-public session. Starting at that end of the table.
Aye, yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ed and myself agree, so we unanimous on sealing the minutes. I would note that no action was taken during the course of the non-public session, although we will be taking action starting right now. And I am going to attempt to do this in two groups. I would entertain a motion as we look at the potential deed list for back taxes. I would entertain a potential motion to waive deeding for the following properties. Tax map 405, lot 53. Tax map 208, lot 76. Tax map 208, lot 74. Tax map 416, lot 72. Tax map 405, lot 4. Tax map 416, lot 1. Tax map 209, lot 40. And tax map 422, lot 15.
So moved.
Is there a second for that action?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, those in favor of waiving those deeds or signing deed waivers for those properties?
Aye.
Okay, appears to be
Andy,
unanimous.
on the last one, did you say 422 lot 15?
I did.
Thank you.
Okay, and then I'm going to read properties that we will be deeding. Make sure I get this right here. Okay, and that would include tax map 420, lot 66, tax map 405, lot 19, tax map 208, lot 3, tax map 405, lot 76, tax map 208, lot 26, tax map 208, lot 22, tax map 418, lot 25, tax map 418, lot 26, tax map 418, lot 62, tax map 201, lot 21, tax map 204, lot 33, tax map 204, lot 28.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will deed those properties that I just read. In turn, we have to sign the deed notices. Sort through these. And give them to Kelly.
No, it's locked, right?
We have a property in here that is not on our list. Okay, good. That will save us having to hustle back to the back of the room again.
We signed everything over.
Yeah, we might as well, because Kelly is going to want them. Hopefully this has got enough ink to...
Kelly gonna date him later.
Can you date these forms, Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I've done about half of them and hadn't.
I have a pile of the ones that are not signed.
Thank you very much for your organization.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, moving on, we've got budget review, and we've got the highway department, and the highway agent is with us, so you could give us just an overview of your budget, Mark, and if you got anything else you want to talk to us about while you're here, feel free.
First of all, I want to apologize for not being here last week. If I had known I was on the agenda, I would have been here. So with that being said, whether it was my mistake or whatever,
We had enough to talk about without you,
you guys
so-
are busy anyway, so anyhow, budgets, level spending as usual. The only thing that we really need to do is refund the winter warrant article. We used $60,000 out of that, so we need to refund that with a warrant article.
Okay. Question for you, Mark. We had briefly talked as a board about the option of floating a warrant article for road repair and road reconstruction, not specific
Yep.
to any specific road. I don't know how you feel about that. If we do that and get it passed, are there some roads that you could,
I think
Work on.
I think that's a good idea, because what we could do is we could add that with the, with the road reconstruction budget. So what number were you thinking, Andy?
it didn't exactly have a number. I
Okay.
think we had talked, I guess in my head, roughly $250,000 or,
Yeah.
unless you thought that was absurd, but
Which would put, we spend, what, 258 on the, or 256 on the roads now, something like that, so that would put us up to 500,000.
I-
So we'd be able to do twice the paving, that's for sure.
yeah, I just, I've heard from some members of the community that you guys should be doing more, and I'm sure that
I understand.
at
that.
voting time, we'll hear from some members of the
Yep,
community that think we
exactly,
should be
and I
voting
think-
less.
I think that's the best way to go about it, is just let the people make the choice, and do it that way.
Okay,
Yep,
So we'll
I think
keep
that's
it-
an awesome idea.
We'll keep it separate, right?
yeah, I think we'll keep it separate from Mark's budget,
Right.
so it'll jeopardize his budget. And
Yep.
I also think we should keep it non-specific. It should be a road reconstruction budget for the highway department
Yeah.
to figure out.
Could be worded like an expansion of the road reconstruction budget or whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yep.
Just so, I think when we've named specific streets in the past, everyone that doesn't live on that street has voted it down without too much consideration, so a generic road reconstruction warrant article.
Sounds good.
No, good.
Any questions for Mark while we've got him here?
And do you want to know what the projects will be for next year? Like,
Yes, definitely.
We always kind of go over that too. I thought that we, instead of doing, hardcore reconstruction, that we'd concentrate on some shimming and overlaying of existing pavement, which would really catch us up on some really rough places. So what I have written down here is shim and overlay Middle Road from South Road up to the discontinued Ridge Road, which would be up by George Thompson's, on that back side. The second one would be South Road from Middle Road up to the discontinued part of South, which would be just above where Jan Foisey used to live. And shim and overlay Candia Road from Church Street to Cole Road.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd say that would probably just about take care of what we have for money within the budget.
Okay.
It's pretty, it's quite a lot of road, so.
It's quite a few miles.
Well, I think the patches that you did a couple weeks ago
Oh.
made a real difference too.
Huge. Oh, I mean, just in those little areas, it just makes the rest of the road look good.
I can't believe how many people have commented how nice, I call it, the Five Corners came out.
Yeah, the intersection was really, really, going downhill fast. Yep. So, that's it for budget for me.
Make a motion to approve the highway budget.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thanks, Mark.
Okay?
Anything else you want to?
Yeah, do you want to talk about the furnace at the shed now, or?
Sure, if you want to.
Yeah, I'd like to give you my opinion.
Okay.
I would really like to see us put an oil furnace back in there. I have a bunch of reasons why. We already have an oil furnace. We've got 300 gallons of home heating oil in the barrel now. To me, it just makes more sense to put back what you already have and not try to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. You get more BTUs out of oil. It takes 1.5 gallons of propane to equal the BTUs of 1 gallon of oil. I understand, Rhymes is willing to put a bigger tank in, so if when we do have an outage, we won't run out of propane for the generator and run out with heat. But there again, where we bid the propane every single year, Rhymes is gonna take their tank with them, so unless we buy the tank.
If they put a tank there and they don't get the bid, they'd take it.
They'll
right?
take the tank unless we buy the tank. I mean, yeah, they'll be willing to give us a tank to use, but as long as they're filling it, and I would think that they'd want a contract with us for so long before they would let us keep the tank, but, and, you know, we're gonna have to dig a line from the propane tank to the building, and we already have the well line there, the propane line that goes to the generator, plus the power line that goes to the diesel fuel tank, all in that corner there where you want to change the tank. So that's going to be something that, if you do decide to go propane, we're going to let Rhymes dig that ditch because there's just too much buried there for me and my guys to do it. So, you know, I was talking to some different heating guys, and this is where I got the information from. The average heating cost, you know, for the person using propane is 20% higher in a heating season than somebody that uses oil. So it's quite a lot, even though, because of the BTU difference, like I said, you're burning half again as much fuel to make the same BTU as 1 gallon of oil. So that's my, you know, you guys can do what you want to do, I just have to, this is my thinking, that's all.
Your preference is you don't want LP in there.
I don't want LP, and one of my biggest concerns is we pipe gas into that building, there's a leak, we're changing cutting edges, we're welding, we're using an open flame all the time, and I would just, while I'm highway agent, I would just not want to take that chance.
Well, how's the rest of the board feel? And I think, I only speak for myself, but we looked at the estimates. We had estimates from 3 or 4 contractors. Each had provided an oil option and a gas option, and the gas option with the ductwork was considerably less when we looked at them, about, I mean, not a huge amount, but it was on the order of $1,800 less for the gas furnace as opposed to the oil furnace. But also, I don't know what stage we're at, John.
Ray just met with Al Terry today to do kind of preliminary work. Their biggest goal today was figuring out how to get the old furnace out of the building, which is going to be a task, but nothing started yet.
So
Right, and
we're not too late.
I was there while they were there, and I told them that we weren't sure whether we were gonna go gas or oil yet, that we would know tonight, and Ray's
waiting.
gonna let them know tomorrow.
Right.
Well, what's the rest of the board think?
What do we have for cost differential between a gallon of LP versus a gallon of heating oil? And do we know if there's a difference in the efficiencies in the burners of a propane versus oil?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
The oil furnace is 85% efficient, and the propane furnace is 90.
So a 5% difference?
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
what,
then when you're figuring that, Andy, you need to figure 1.5 gallons versus a gallon, so.
yeah, the two quotes that we had from Al Terry that we went with, they had estimated an 80% rate on the LP gas, and they don't give a percentage on the oil for efficiency. These are both the quotes for gas.
We don't have the oil quote there.
These are both gas. It says oil here, but it says gas here.
Oh, yeah, these are
The two
It's a-
side by side, okay.
when they did the
Yeah.
oil system.
They didn't do an efficiency percentage
You do a dollar.
listing. The oil was a highboy style oil furnace, Granby brand name, 66,000 with a 3-ton blower. And the gas was a Goodman 80% LP gas furnace, 64,000 with a 4-ton blower. And the total price for the gas installation was $5,009, and the total price for the oil installation was $6,983. And I don't have the bid price for fuel oil and propane.
Nobody's subs-
With me, I don't know if John
I can look it up.
could look that up for us, but
Was Altieri, I wasn't here, the low bidder
Yes.
on oil?
he was.
No.
He wasn't?
No.
No.
The high bid was 15,000 on oil. We had, LeBlanc gave us a quote of $15,623 for the oil burner,
They need to go away anyway.
and Logan gave us a price of $6,000 for the oil burner.
So 15.6 and 69?
So Altieri was definitely the lowest.
I thought he was 6,900.
He's the middle on the oil.
I mean, yeah, he was for oil. He was the cheapest for gas. Logan was the cheapest for oil,
Where are they out of?
Deerfield.
I think more than price, is Mark's comment about the open flame, and first of all that, and second of all, propane, the way we scatter around with bids. We don't need to be switching lines and tanks.
Well, I'm comfortable with it if the road agent has a definite preference and it's gonna come out in the wash over the years as we buy fuel anyway. I don't have a problem with going with oil, I guess, at this point. How the rest of the board feels?
I'll agree, because if they have to come in and dig the lines too, that's gonna cost us more money than what's,
I just like the idea we own our own tank and it's in the building. It's efficient, it's new, it's
And
done.
it's full.
And we don't have to pump 300 gallons out.
Somebody's gonna have to
We
dig
burn
that
it in a
line
waste
in.
oil furnace.
Chances are it'd be more than $900 to go through what you just said.
Propane's 1.099. Heating oil's 2.279.
Yeah, just for the bid prices that we accepted were 1.099 for LP and 2.279 for oil. Seeing, I guess it would be my preference that as we selected Altieri at the last meeting and made a motion to accept their bid, if we decide to switch from gas to oil, I think I would recommend staying with Altieri, just so they don't feel they were
Yeah.
treated incorrectly with regard to a bid process. So if we're gonna proceed along those lines, I would need a motion to change our decision on the heating arrangements for the highway shed from liquid propane to oil, and to use the Altieri bid of $6,983.
Andy, are they people that we would use for service for its career too, compared to what we've been?
We have been using LeBlanc for all the furnaces, and that's who initially discovered the.
We've confirmed how ridiculous they are on price.
Correct.
So my question is, will Altieri service it?
Yes.
That we could, yes.
I'll make a motion that we go with Altieri for the price on the quote for oil,
Okay.
$6,000
$6,983.
for the highway shed.
second.
Got a motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, we have one nay and 3 yeas, so. All right, anything else, Mark?
One other thing.
Yep.
And then I'll be out of your hair. Just, if I can make a request.
Sure.
Next time, the board, like, I guess we're doing this thing with Southern New Hampshire Planning
Right,
with the, I don't know exactly what it's called.
I think they're calling it a road survey,
The
basically.
road survey thing. If I could be included in the discussion on that and not, get a phone call from John saying that they're gonna meet you, you gotta meet with these guys, they're gonna be calling you to set up a meeting, and I have no idea what we're
Okay.
doing. So, I mean, it's kinda, if we can have just, you know, if I could be a part of the discussion beforehand, that would be awesome.
Yep, and I apologize for that, Mark. That was clearly an oversight on my part.
And I understand that.
It was a, what I saw as a good deal, and hope the rest of the board did too, because New Hampshire DOT pays for half of it.
Right.
We used to do this on a pretty much annual basis with New Hampshire DOT, and they
Right.
stopped doing it. And
Exactly.
why they pony up the money for,
And talking with them, I think it's, you know, it's, what we're gonna get out of it is gonna be, you know, lots of useful information. They're gonna do culvert plotting on a map, so they're gonna know where the culverts are. They're not gonna give us a condition of them or the size, but they'll have locations on the map. You know what I mean? And, so, you know, I think we're all striving for the same goal here, but just,
I think our concern as a board for wanting the information was things are going fine as long as you're there.
Yeah.
But if you decide you're sick of being
I-
road
I
agent or don't wake up
understand
one
that.
morning, we're pretty much in the dark
I
as to what's
understand
the condition of the roads are.
absolutely. Yeah.
I agree with your point, and Andy made it clear, so it's good.
Nope, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you so much.
For all you do.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, couple other budget items. Do you have insurance numbers, John?
I talked to William Bald Friday. He was hoping to have insurance information then, but apparently Tufts was having computer issues, which held it up. So I'm anticipating hearing from them this week.
Okay, I don't have my insurance numbers from Blue Cross or Tufts or Harvard
Right.
either, so.
And the reval of property is not, that RFP is not due until November 13th, so it'll be sometime after that.
Can we back up to my motion on the highway and put the dollar figure in it? I didn't have it in front of me,
For the budget.
Oh,
just so it's on the minutes.
the
please.
overall highway budget?
Yes.
Okay, I had $551,548, is that? That might be a buck short.
Then, just as a reminder, we always have the bridge repair separate. And
So it's not a buck short.
the dams, you might as well bring those up
Oh,
separately.
yeah, right.
So does 551, 548 jibe with what you've got, John?
551, 548 is correct, that's what I have.
Okay, so just for the record, let that show as the number that Dick moved for the highway budget. And then we've got $1 for bridge repairs. Let's hold that line open. And we have $400 for dam fees and maintenance.
So moved.
Is there a second on those two numbers?
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, regular business, review of outstanding minutes. We have the minutes of October 21st before us.
You have a motion to, make a motion to approve the minutes of October 21st.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion, corrections. Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention.
One abstention, Mr. Pittman. An accounts payable manifest in the amount of $36,918.13.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I've moved on to the signature file. I have a request for a raffle permit from the Inn at Deerfield. This is for a calendar raffle that they would like to hold to raise funds for activities for their residents. They will be selling raffle tickets for $5 apiece, or calendar raffle-type tickets for $5 apiece, if we would grant them permission to do so.
So move, sounds harmless.
Yeah, second.
If there's no further discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
Also have to send a copy of this to the police chief, just in case the raffle gets out of hand, I guess. I have a personnel action request, and this is to put Sherry Sanborn back on the payroll as assessing clerk. The present assessing clerk has had a health issue that is going to keep her out of the office for expected 6 weeks or so. And Sherry has graciously agreed to come out of retirement and step back in until the other party is better.
Good.
So I would need a motion to put Sherry back on at an hourly rate of $25 an hour.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, and I would note that that's for 12 hours a week. There's no further discussion. Those in favor of authorizing me to sign this?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a second personnel action request. This is for Judith Marshall, and this is from the Deerfield Conservation Commission. And the request is this: please approve an increase of $290 for the part-time employee line in the DCC 2020 budget. The DCC 2020 budget approved by the board on September 26th does not include this change. The increase is necessary to support the approved hourly rate increase for this part-time employee. So basically, what the Conservation Commission would like us to do is move Judith's hourly pay from $15.26 to $18 for the 2020 year, and also, if we approve this, reflect that change in the 2020 budget. And as he noted, we'll have a $290 annual effect on their budget.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I will sign it. And we have a contract from Milton Cat, and is this the maintenance agreement for the generator? Yes. Rick had talked with us about that last week. It's a 3-year contract. They will charge us $721.97 for the year 2020, $766.01 for the year 2021, and $812.02 for the year 2022. This is for service conducted in September of each year on the large generator. Is this both generators?
No, this is the one at the school.
This is just the one at the school.
Yes.
So I would-
Basically, it's 7,
Yep.
no matter what.
Right.
Is it once a year oil change or something?
They go over the,
It's
they go over the entire maintenance of the generator once a year.
Program they have in place.
Correct.
that we've used
Yes.
right along since we've had it.
How much was the 2023, Andy?
They didn't give us a 23. 22 was 81202, 21 was 776601, and 20 was 72197. So I would need a motion to sign this.
So moved.
Second. Oh, permit, yeah.
Motion and a second, discussion. Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we have a refund request from the town clerk, and this is a refund to David Gazzola for $27. The MSRP of a 2019 vehicle was entered incorrectly, and when it was corrected, we owe David $27.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'm assuming there's no further discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we've got nothing in the correspondence file that requires action. The only thing we did have was the note from the Conservation Commission regarding Judith Marshall's rate of pay. We have some information from John Reagan's office regarding funding amounts for the new ongoing education funding, one-time education infrastructure grants. And we have the ZBA minutes and a report from Ted Gatsis of the Executive Council and what actions they have taken. Moving on to the town administrator's report.
Most of you have already seen the draft 2020 BOS schedule. If you would take some time, review that, and possibly make a decision on whether to accept that schedule at one of your future meetings, I could make sure that that gets posted. You also will find a preliminary tax rate sheet in your folders. Based on the information that you provided last week, DRA was able to give me this. There are still two areas you can adjust. One would be the overlay amount, which currently rests at just below $250,000, and also the reserve fund, which you'll see on the very back page. You can adjust that percentage, which I believe is currently 10.35%. If you want to make any changes with that now, I can pass that information on to DRA, or if you'd like to discuss it and review it.
What do we have for a time frame where we've got another week or two, don't we, before we have to respond?
Time is closing in because Kelly's getting ready to start preparing her first round of tax bills.
Folks want to take a little harder look at this before we set the tax rate?
Do it next week.
Yeah,
I'll
do
put it on the
next week.
agenda.
We'll be on next week.
We're on next week, aren't we, John?
November 4th, yes.
Okay, good.
All right, so you can take a look at this over the next week? Yes, Jeff?
What do we say, is it $500,000 is a dollar? Is that-
A little over 500, yeah.
Last year was about 579,000 equals $1
Tax.
tax rate.
Been as high as 586.
Right. The gazebo roof, for those of you who haven't noticed, has started. The work on that has started today. They're hoping to wrap up within 6 to 8 days. It's going well the first day.
Any surprises?
Yes, a lot of moisture underneath, a lot of wet wood. but they're going to repair it, and it looks like the entire cupola has to be replaced. I think I can, I have funds to support that, because this will completely clean out the gazebo escrow fund, but I'm going to tap into some of the community partnership grant money that we've been getting from,
Oh, yeah. Eversource?
from, well, Wheelabrator.
Oh.
So we'll be able to cover that repair cost, because we're not going to leave the cupola not finished. And Charlie Wheeler says he can repair that, and most of it's going to have to be replaced, unfortunately.
Will it look like it does now?
Correct.
It's worth keeping it, right, Fred, or not?
Hmm?
Is it worth keeping the cupola?
I think so, yeah.
Is it functional? Does it breathe?
Yes, that is an air flow for the whole structure.
That'd be good then.
I was hoping for happy surprises.
I'll keep you posted. And last, I had a note here, depending on what the board wanted to do with the furnace at the highway garage. So you voted to put in the oil burner at $6,983, but you never voted to give approval to use the Municipal Buildings Trust Fund. So if I could get a motion so that I could attach that to the request to the trustees to withdraw that money.
Someone make that motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor of using the building trust funds?
All right,
Aye.
Appears to be unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Unfinished business or other business? Yes, Fred.
Somebody had mentioned that John Emerson had passed away.
a long time ago.
Yeah, and apparently the property has gone to the estate, and we have a lien on that property, and I was wondering how much money are we talking about in that lien? This isn't a tax lien, this is a separate lien.
I'm aware of a court claim that was filed. I've been in touch with the estate, and our attorney, Bart Mayer, has been in touch with their attorney, so we're on top of it. They are working diligently, trying to clean it up. They're aware of this document, and everybody's on the right page.
Okay, good.
Yes, Dick.
Question for Fred. Is there anything positive come out of stopping that subdivision off Gulf Road in Northwood?
Yeah, we had a meeting with the Northwood Planning Board, at least 2 members of the planning board, and they agreed to that, yes, we actually do have a problem, and the people who live to the east and were using the road as we were standing there illustrated how bad the problem was, that for probably 150 feet, there's only sufficient width for one vehicle to go
Better go into a
through.
driveway.
Yeah, it's not much, it's
Let 'em go
13
by.
feet wide. My driveway is 12 feet wide, so it's not much wider than my driveway.
I think the other concern has always been that it used to be a concern that Northwood brought until this particular project, was that when we get any sort of snowbank there, emergency vehicles are fairly limited in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you did have a meeting?
Yes, we did have a meeting. We sent a request through Sylvia to talk to Jim Raymond. Number one, if the planning board agreed to a reduced number in this proposed subdivision, reduced number of lots, would the town expose itself to any liability for basically allowing additional buildings out on, to access Gulf Road? And so that was one question. The other question was, is there anything that that we, the town of Deerfield, could end up doing to prevent development on undeveloped lots in Northwood using Gulf Road, and to prevent anybody from adding additional dwelling units onto existing houses there? I don't know what the possibility on that is. The statute doesn't really address that issue. But Jim Raymond will hopefully talk about it. But I think we, as a Board of Selectmen, should, once we get some recommendations back from Jim Raymond, we, as the Board of Selectmen, should send a letter to the Northwood Board of Selectmen, just advising them that we will not support any additional development out there until a separate access is provided by Northwood.
You know, we need to put the heat on them. They won't do it if we don't.
Exactly.
Hopefully, we get the teeth we need from Mr. Raymond.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Fred.
Is there a way to get a second access?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There is, but it would certainly cost the town money, town of Northwood money.
You can drive a Jeep through there.
Yeah.
There's a spot where there used to be a bridge. I don't know if the bridge has been fixed, that maybe you couldn't get through
But they
now,
could do it.
Come out by the Boy Scout camp
Yes, right.
Oh, okay.
on top of the ridge there.
The Northwood Planning Board members had said, well, gee, maybe a access around, basically around Pleasant Lake, basically using, or not using, because it'd have to become town roads, but make all the private roads there town roads, and make that another access. But that didn't really make a lot of sense.
That's a lot of
lot-
layout and a lot of cost.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, all of Willow Lane is
Oh, yeah,
privately owned.
right.
And there's that rock wall at the last place,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of Willow, and they've tried to remove it in the past and lost that battle.
But yeah, I'm sure if you end up trying to make those town roads, that we would be faced with possibly even having to take some of that if we decided to do it. I'm sure Northwood would be faced with it as well.
Well, 20 years ago, we'd had this discussion and actually met with Northwood Board of Selectmen, and the planning boards had met too, and I know basically discussions stopped when it became apparent that about the only way to proceed would be eminent domain proceedings
Yeah.
on private property to try to improve access from the Deerfield side.
And that'd be a lot of properties to proceed with eminent domain on.
I guess. Well, thank you, Fred.
Other business, new business? Hearing none, I would look for citizens' comments at this time.
I have a couple of concerns. The planning board meeting on Wednesday night is going to be, well, they did receive comments for the capital improvements plan, and in it were the police station and the fire station for next year. And I heard the selectmen vote to put it off for a year, so somewheres that got changed. And it would appear that we've got a short time between now and March for warrant articles, or January for warrant articles, to decide what. And I asked Fred if he knew if the selectmen had contacted Farmington, the builder of their fire station, or gone over and seen it, that had been built for $2.3 million with 8 bays. And he didn't know. He didn't know if you had kept the information, Andy.
I had actually seen I had seen the facility and had looked at their proposal, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So I have seen the facility and did discuss their proposal with them and what they had done, yes.
Okay. And then the second thing is the roads that were presented in the contract for the roads to be roads that were not up to what they should be. And my concern is a good deal of the roads on there were Class 6 roads in the majority. For instance, Perry Road, last time I knew, you only had a couple of houses that were on town road. The rest of it was all Class 6 road. Perkins Road, they've got something mixed up there because there's no bridge on Perkins Road. I think they meant Blake's Hill Road. So they were going to re-review it. But in this is what Mark said earlier. If Mark had been put with them to go over the roads, there would have been someone who knows which roads are open, which roads are closed. And we do not have to keep up any Class 6 road. They sign, and I'm hoping we have the signed and recorded building permits for Class 6 roads still going on. Used to be the selectmen would get those at their meeting and sign to them. I haven't heard of them at the meeting for a long time. But one of the things was when I moved here, the road, Brown Road, beyond the dump was a closed Class 6 road. And somewhere along the way, it started being maintained. And once the town starts maintaining, even puts a truck on the road, it becomes a town road to maintain from then on. And I know it's been maintained because I remember Alex coming in and paying for gravel and stuff to be put up there. I think that we should take the map that Joanne did, showing the vote of every road that was closed in this town by town vote. And a road can only be reopened by a town vote. Since I've been here, we haven't voted to open any road except the portion of George Owen's property on Perkins Road, which became my son's lot. So I'm really at a loss for what's going on with roads. And then the third thing is we have a problem with boards and persons on the boards who do have a conflict of interest. And the example here is Fred and Dick. Dick being a member of the Deerfield Fair Executive Committee, and Fred being the chairman of the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission. Should not be voting on any contracts to Southern Planning Commission or Dick on anything to do with the fair. Under the Office of Public Integrity in the Attorney General's office, you can read the restrictions on that. But it's very clear a conflict of interest exists when a person has two masters. If you serve on the executive board or if you serve as chairman of a board, there's two masters. So I would like that to be clarified and corrected.
Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Chairman?
Don't even go down the road.
No, well, Mrs. Katie reminded me that I was going to mention to the board that the planning board had requested the fire chief and probably the chair of the police study committee, police coming to the planning board's next meeting specifically to address the capital improvement plan. The issue had been raised at the planning board was, we're showing the $2 million for the fire department and $1.4 million for the police department separately, and why weren't those two combined into one structure? The $2 million.
I'd be happy to come and talk to them about that.
Okay.
It won't take long.
I assume the police chief would be happy to to join as well.
Oh, we don't need the chief, but
Okay.
just you as the member of the committee, I think would be fine.
Happy to do that. Mr. Rhodes?
Gentlemen and ma'am, question that was occasioned by, I guess, the discussion over the furnace at the garage, at the town shed. Is it a normal part of the bidding process to request from the vendors sort of a total cost of ownership analysis, so that you can see what the ultimate cost to the town would be?
That was not a consideration in this particular process, no. And I suspect that, speaking for myself here, but just the size of the,
Well, this project, yeah, it was just a small,
The heating unit.
small potatoes.
we didn't request that. In fact, the bid process was very informal.
Or was it? Yeah.
We contacted multiple contractors and asked for bids.
But is that the normal, I mean, do you normally ask for total cost of, over the life of, expected life of an asset?
Off the top of my head, I can't recollect whether we did that with the town hall furnaces or these furnaces here.
Because where you end up having significant annual costs, an upfront number may in fact be misleading when you're talking about spending funds over, a 20-year period. And, making a decision on an upfront cost may end up being more expensive over time. So if that were part of the town's process to, look at that kind of thing, might end up saving money, or actually finding out sort of, what it really is gonna end up costing. So it's a question and a suggestion.
Yep, and I certainly take that under advisement, and I know we have used similar analysis for things like the lighting in town buildings, that type of thing.
Right.
That's it. There's no further comments.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just to clarify one item, I am no longer chair of the Southern Hampshire Planning Commission, so Mrs. Katie can drop that concern with regard to serving two masters.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Look at this, Andrew.
How come you want the fire department and not the fire?
Oh, well, the committee. We don't, I don't think we have a committee for the fire department.